welcome to another episode of Crime Pays by Bonnie Dustin. Today we're out here on I-55, standing here right on the side of the road. I-55, the most beloved freeway in Chicago, to dispel some of the myths about this plant. Okay, I gotta dispel some of the myths out there for you goofs, okay, because you get a lot of goofy guys, okay, and that's a non-gender specific guy. You get a lot of goofy guys saying, I'm allergic to goldenrod, I'm allergic to goldenrod. I got news for you, you ain't allergic to goldenrod, pal, all right? Because goldenrod is an insect-pollinated plant, and it's the pollen is relatively heavy compared to wind-pollinated plants. It's mostly wind-pollinated plants, like a lot of trees, that induce the allergies. In this case, when people say they're allergic to goldenrod, they're most likely referring to Ambrosia, aka the ragweed, which is a wind-pollinated plant. It's one of the few members of the family Asteraceae, the sunflower family, that has wind-borne pollen. But the goldenrod doesn't have wind-borne pollen. It's one of the most important ecological plants of the Midwest. You can see we're right here on the side of the fucking freeway, okay? Someone probably already called the Illinois State Police on me already, think I'm doing some illegal dumping, or filming a TikTok video of myself doing whippets in a Ross Dress for Less parking lot or something. Because I've seen kids doing it. That's what they do out here in the suburbs, okay? We're one of the inner ring suburbs, right? Oh, look at that damn Rhamnus cathartica. Worst invasive plant we got out here next to hammer honeysuckle. Anyway, this is all goldenrod. The genus is Solidago. You got 6 species in a tri-state area. Maybe you probably got more of that. 6 species in my immediate vicinity that I've logged, okay? They're all incredible. None of them are causing your allergies unless you're doing rails of the pollen. Are you doing, is this a bar bathroom at Brixie's Tavern? Huh? Any of the dive bars off Ogden? Are you doing lines of goldenrod pollen? No, so this ain't what you're allergic to. You gotta stop spreading these myths out there. You ain't allergic to goldenrod, you're allergic to ambrosia, okay? Or any of the other wind-borne plants out there, like a lot of the grasses are wind-pollinated plants, okay? That wind-borne pollen is what induces allergies, all right? These plants are trying to hold it in. They're trying to hold it in and so it can only be removed by the bees or the butterflies or the pollinators, other pollinators that hit these things and pollinate them. They're not trying to just freely disperse it on wind currents over there. So that's what, look, here's another incredible native. Look at that, this eupatorium. I love it, the quote-unquote weedy natives. Natives that can compete with all the invasive bullshit like the buckthorns and the teasel back there. Another bad invasive. See that teasel back there with those, look at like those brown-looking cones? Dipsacaceae is the family over there, from the Dipsacaceae order, all right? It's got a place where it's native 8,000 miles away. That ain't here, all right? Maybe it's 4,000 miles. It's across the big fucking ocean. Either way, we're here to show some love for goldenrod. You really got to give it up. Don't be spreading lies. I don't want to hear none of your crap. I don't want to hear you saying nothing about the goldenrods, because look, they're fall bloomers too, all right? It's a farewell to summer, and what a beautiful farewell to summer is. What a beautiful way to say goodbye than just fields of these spikes of yellow flowers, okay? These dense, well, it's more of like a dense raceme of yellow flowers, but they're about to be opening up here. This whole thing will be lit up yellow. Smells incredible, incredible benefit, for the native bees. If you got the invasive European honeybees, you're a beekeeper, some shit, you're doing the honey thing, they're great for that too. A lot of pollen, a lot of nectar in those flowers. Look at that, one plant is gonna produce upwards of 1,000 seeds. Each one of those, what looks like a single flower, is actually a composite flower. It's got, I don't know how many, dozen or 2 dozen, 3 dozen tiny flowers inside what looks like a single flower. So, and each one of those flowers produces a single seed. You got, 2 dozen individual flowers inside one of those single flower heads, and boom, you do the math. Each plant is producing thousands of seeds, hundreds if not thousands of seeds. Right here, you're looking at 1 million seeds being produced easy. They're wind-borne, they spread. You'll see them growing out of roofs of abandoned buildings, out of the frickin' freeway, okay? You see, a lot of people say they seen Ditka on the side of the 94 overpass, all right? I don't know what he's doing now. He must be old. Maybe they got him in a home or something. But you will definitely see the goldenrod. You're not going to see Ditka. You're not going to see Dick Butkus. You're not going to see any of those guys, okay? You're not going to see Dennis Farina on I-94, but you're going to see this stuff, all right? You see it on I-94, the I-290. You see it on I-55. You're going to see all that stuff, okay? And no lies. I don't want you spreading no lies about the goldenrod. You ain't allergic to goldenrod. You're allergic to the ambrosias and the ragweeds over there. That's all I got to fuck yourself by. Look at that. Goldenrod, ambrosia, aka ragweed. Goldenrod, ragweed. Goldenrod, ragweed. See this? She knows what she's talking about over there. See that? Look. Oh, you can't even see. Maybe see they're just about to start going off. But anyway, see how the ambrosia's just dumping? It's dumping. Those are all anthers. Dumping anthers out. Most members of Asteraceae got their anthers fused inward to a tube. Not so with the ambrosia. All right, those anthers are out. This spike is just maturing. These aren't ready yet. See, just about to be ready, but they're dumping. So that's gonna be, you know, that's what you're allergic to. It's a cool native, but that's what you're allergic to. Not that. Get it straight, pal. Quit spreading lies. Look at this Ted Stone Prairie, just down the road at Ted Stone. I know I said go fuck yourself by, but I wasn't actually done yet. There's a lot of nice stuff here to film. Another great fucking prairie. Okay, Ted Stone Prairie. You got to do that Midwest accent on the vowels. Stone. Anyway, here we are looking at hibiscus mosquitoes. Mosquitoes? How the fuck you pronounce? I don't know how you pronounce that. It don't matter because Latin's a dead language. Anyone that tries to correct your Latin deserves a kick in the shins or the balls if they got them. All right, and they probably will have balls because it's probably going to be a dude correcting your language. Anyway, there you go. Native Illinois hibiscus. Did you know we had Illinois native hibiscus? There's that flower. Okay, those white things are the female parts of the flower. Disregard my filthy fingernails. Those are the five stigmas. Those yellow things are the anthers. They're all fused together in a tube. The tube is hollow, and through that hollow tube protrudes that style topped by those 5 stigmas. And let's look at the, look at it. Look at the texture of those stigmas. They look just right for getting pollen globs attached to them by the bees that go in there to pollinate these things. You see they're producing a little bit of nectar down there. Barely visible, all right, but certainly measurable in microliters. Nectar at the base of those 5 petals. And because almost all members of Malvaceae are self-fertile, all right, how many plants we got here? Well, we probably got 2 plants. Anyway, you can see all those seeds in there, all right? So it's going to be time, if you live in Illinois, it's time for you to go out there. You can see the placenta attaching to those seeds. See that? Little white noodles. Anyway, if you live in a region, it's going to be time for you to go collect seed here in a month or 2. So all those little seeds of this Illinois native hibiscus are going to be good. All right. The best way to germinate, I would use a hot water treatment. Heat water up to below boiling. Don't boil it, and just pour it over them. Let it sit in a pint glass for, I don't know, overnight or something. Sow them outside on a flat in February. Make sure it's still cold out, you know, so they get the cold stratification, remove those germination inhibitors in the seed, and then you'll just get a flat popping up. So you can see they got a picnic here. They got a bounce house over there. I might go ask if I can join them. Is that kind of weird? I don't know. Probably. I do like a bounce house though. Preferably if it's devoid of snotty kids though. No offense to the kids, but they are petri dishes, you know. Anyway, there's Lobelia cardinalis, another banger of a plant. That thing's obviously hummingbird pollinated. I bet the bees probably hit it too. It does have a rather large landing pad of those 3 fused petals on the base right there. And you got that pollen presenter up top. So 3 fused petals on at the lower lip, and then two petals that kind of splay out on the top. And then you got that little pollen presenter, and right there, that like grayish purple thing, that is the fused anther tube, just like Asteraceae has, because these are in the same order as the sunflowers, Asteraceae. All lobelias do. They got that little pollen presenter. I can't get enough of it. Listen to the goddamn cicadas up there. They're so nice. Nice spiritual ambiance. All right. You don't even need to have 4 grams of dried psilocybe in you to enjoy that. That's just pleasant enough. That's psychedelic enough in and of itself. Look at the ironies over there. Look at the vernonias. See that? Who the fuck complains about cicadas? God, you gotta be. You know, I don't get it. You don't mind the sound of the freeway, but you mind the cicadas. You know. They're just lost. It's okay. I'm not trying to knock anybody. Maybe they're just lost. You know, they don't know. They don't know what's good for them. Got your Bidens, of course. Got some I see some helenium out there. Where'd the helenium go? There's more of that Lobelia cardinalis. Anyway, all right. I'm really gonna get out of here now. Go fuck yourself out. So I hope you got some out of that. All right. All right. I really gotta get out. Goodbye. Look at it. Look. We're not even 100 yards from where all those kids are puking on each other in the moonwalk or the bounce house, whatever it's called, and I can't even hear them no more. I just look out here, take a nice deep breath, Settle down, calm down. Look at all the goldenrod. This is a nice one too, Hibiscus. See that? No, not enough people grow this one. All right, we're on a Dolomite Prairie right here. This damn senna. More people need to grow this. This is really a nice. And look at all those fruits. Those little bean pods, because it is a legume. Little bean pods will be mature. When they turn brown, that's how you know they're good. They got little lentil-looking seeds inside. Each pod having about 24 seeds in it. How about that? Get some seeds of that. Start growing more of that. And let the goldenrod marinate. Don't remove it. Look at that, Verbicina alternifolia. That's another good one. Look at that. Look at those. See, they're done. Those are the seeds. See, they got those little awns on them, like little picks. But see, you can still see that melanin in the seed coat. And most importantly, best diagnostic factor for this species yet, you got them wings. See that? You see them wings on it? I'm not talking about hot wings. I'm talking about the wings on its stem. Huh? Then those can get upwards. That's a short one. They get upwards of 8 feet tall. I planted some of those in my ma's yard. And she let them right. She didn't like them at first. Now she likes them. I said, Ma, leave these. Don't be removing them. Great plant. One of those more, another herbaceous perennial. All this stuff dies in the winter. Roots stay alive. Comes back with a fever the next spring. Look at the ironweed. God damn, look at that stuff. Look at the ironweeds. The vernonias. 2 or 3 species of vernonias around here. Now we'll get a little bit more of that grass. There's a little bit more Schizachyrium scoparium, the little bluestem. A lot of people, another myth people are out there spreading bad dope about. They're saying, look at all the ticks you're going to have in here. Well, my friend, you're not going to have ticks if you live in a prairie and you're managing it correctly, because prairies burn every 3 years. And last I checked, the ticks weren't made out of flame retardant. So they die. You kill all of them. You get rid of the chiggers, get rid of the ticks. I'm convinced that's one of the main reasons the native peoples burn so much. All right? Not only because it's good for the soil, it's good for the land. You get good regeneration, rejuvenates the soil, opens the land up, easier to see stuff you want to hunt, keeps the woodies down, those trees, especially the junipers that will start to invade. Beautiful native plant, but they start to get kind of weedy. Okay? One of the main reasons they burn was probably because of the ticks. I mean, all the other stuff too. All those other reasons are good too. But anyway, don't be spreading bad information. You manage it correctly, you're not going to get ticks. You got to burn. Look at that. See that Schizachyrium, that little bluestem don't get too tall. That's why they call it the little bluestem. Look at that. You get the limestone and a dolomite right on the surface right here. But good. This is a good one to show. You can tell it apart without the inflorescence. See how it's got those kind of segments? And you just kind of start to know. You start to know the gist of it. You know. You got the damn gestalt. See how it's got kind of purple in there? Stems almost look like they're segmented. See it? Those nodes. See that? And you got them inflorescences. See, come out here, take some of those, there you go, take some of those seeds. Okay, I know I've given like 2 or 3 false goodbyes so far, but this is really nice. I'm sitting here just watching the dragonflies buzzing around and stuff, swarming and stuff. We got right here 2 of the coolest grasses, because we're not anti-grass, we're anti-lawn. 2 of the coolest grasses in a whole tri-state area. Sorghastrum natans, you got right here, see this? And then we got our Andropogon, our Andropogon gerardii, our big bluestem. See this guy, right? Those shorter spikes, you typically got them in 3s. All right, this only has 2 right here, but okay. You got to plant more of these, and look at this. You got a whole goddamn field of this stuff. Look at this, and the bugs are coming out, the cicadas, different crickets, locusts are making noise. You got the dragonflies flying around, swarming, looking for stuff to eat. You know, some of those suburban kids, they don't need to feel so lost. You just come out here, all right? It's intoxicating. This really is. I mean, this is a nice spot, okay? You can see I got a little marinara on my safety green long sleeve pocket t-shirt. You know, you might think I'm ashamed of that. I'm not ashamed. That's a badge of honor where I live. You get a little bit of marinara. I put it there on purpose, all right? That's all I got. Go fuck yourself, bye.